Finally. After a couple years of competent but disappointing titles, Codemasters has returned to form with F1 2016, creating the fullest and most realistic digital interpretation of Formula 1 race experience yet. Let's start with last year's title. F1 2015 was a shell of a game that gutted most features from previous titles and replaced them with little more than new visuals and physics models. It was a perfectly serviceable racing title, but it felt hollow. F1 2016 cures all that with a massive list of additions, improvements, and fan-requested feature returns. The most notable return feature is the career mode, which now allows for greater customization of your driver and allows you to play for up to 10 straight seasons, actually letting you forge your own racing heritage across the years, just as today's most successful racing drivers have. Now, making that racing career feel even more exciting and immersive is the addition of fully rendered scenes between race segments that include agent talks, contract negotiations, and more. You can even see some of the most recognizable faces in the sport sitting and chatting in the background. Yes, that is Toto Wolff you see walking around behind you as you are discussing your contract to join the Mercedes-AMG Petronas team. Now, while the off-track involvement has been improved immeasurably, it's the on-track action that sees the most rewarding progress. Starting with practice sessions, everything in F1 2016 has been overhauled to improve player engagement. Your practice sessions are no longer annoying lap times to be ignored before every race, once you know how the track is set up. But rather, each practice session has been split into a trio of compelling mini-games that provides you with real benefit. Each practice session completed gives you upgrade points that can be spent to increase the capabilities of your Formula car. Just like the real sport, every lap on the track gives your engineers priceless data that can be used to enhance your racing rig. I will admit that once you're a dozen races into the season, the practice laps can be a bit tedious, but the game makes you acutely aware that the other teams will not be sitting on their laurels, and any missed practice session will put you behind in development when compared against the other teams. F1 2016 has also added manual starts, manual pit entries, and formation laps to the Grand Prix racing weekend. These three things alone make the game much more demanding of you as a driver and elevate the immersion and sense of being a real F1 racer. The slow formation lap allows you one last look at the track layout and gives you a chance to get some heat into your tires and brakes to make sure they're operating at peak efficiency. It also adds this surreal moment before the race starts, a touch of calm before the storm, and it serves to get my adrenaline pumping every single time. Now, the actual racing experience of F1 2016 is just as demanding as players have come to expect. Over the course of a full race distance, you are constantly battling between fuel usage, tire wear, and pit strategy. You want to push hard for the first few laps to fight your way to the front? Your tires are going to wear out, leaving you with no grip and little ability to defend your new position. Do you take that risk of staying out an extra couple laps on worn rubber? Or do you add an additional pit stop to see if you can use the increased grip to muscle your way back up the pack? Of course, your engineer is constantly coaching you along as you play, helping you make such decisions, but the AI programming here is pretty minimal. Basically, if your tires are worn to a point, you're going to be asked to come in. On multiple occasions, I've had my engineer tell me it's time to come in for fresh tires, and there are less than 5 laps in the race. Not gonna happen, buddy. Sorry. Other great additions to this particular racing formula include a full 22-car multiplayer race session with a championship mode for those of you who are really dedicated, and there is a new time of day editor that allows any track to be raced at any time of day. That means you can now go through Singapore without the stars overhead, rather it's bright and sunny. Now, even from a sensation standpoint, F1 2016 feels like a major improvement over last year's title. Every sight and sound is better than before. While built with the same engine, there's just a new level of polish and refinement that covers everything you see. The cars look a little better, the environments are a touch crisper, and the audio design is some of the best in the industry. I wholly recommend playing this with a nice audio headset to really appreciate the nuance put into the oral experience here. Now, from a system point of view, I was able to play F1 2016 on both the Xbox One and the PC. And as you might expect, the PC did provide the best experience. The Xbox One version plays great and holds steady frame rates, but there are some visual hiccups and very occasionally frame dip issues if there was a particularly gnarly crash ahead of me that sent shrapnel and dust everywhere, putting the physics engine into overdrive. Now, the console experience of F1 2016 is wonderful, make no doubt. But to really experience the best this title has to offer, you need a powerful PC to really push it. Not since the exemplary F1 2013 with its inclusive race modes, entertaining physics models, and much-loved classic cars and tracks have I been so smitten with an F1 racing game. Formula 1 2016 finally fixes the missteps and stumbles of the last few years to create a racing game that feels cohesive, challenging, and true to its source material. The AI, physics model, and visuals are the best yet, and the small touches and additions like the pit boards and formation laps create the fullest F1 experience yet. It finally feels like Codemasters has found its footing, and I can't wait to see what they bring in 2017.